Hi, I'm Dorian Benquoyle with Teaming Media for the IAB at the Networks and Exchanges Conference with Kelly Metz, the Director of Business Development for Right Media. Hi.
Hi.
So tell us a bit about Right Media and what you do.
So Right Media is the oldest and largest ad exchange. We're full ad serving platform as well as a yield management platform for publishers, and we've been doing this a long time at this point compared to the other kids on the block. So we feel we've really learned the lessons that need to be learned, and are coming out with a lot of great innovations this year that will hopefully simplify and change the way people are buying and selling media.
What lessons are those?
Oh, they're hard-won lessons. Basically, if you add too much complexity, campaigns don't scale. And scalability is everything when it comes to non-guaranteed buying and making a campaign successful. Whether you're buying an audience-focused campaign or you're buying a direct response campaign, if you can't scale, you'll never deliver the results. So by simplicity, I mean you've got to be able to deliver the maximum result for the advertiser with the least amount of interference from intermediaries. And right now, the talk of the conference was the joke about Terry Kawaja's slide and how it's gotten crazy out there. It's very confusing.
Terry Kawaja, just for those who don't know, Terry Kawaja is an industry analyst who has a slide where he has each of these different components from the conference today with lots of little buttons representing each company, and it's just
arrows and categorizations.
It looks like the NASCAR stickers of all NASCAR stickers.
It's a mess. Yeah. It's a mess. And that's, if you're an advertiser and you see that slide, that's ostensibly what you're dealing with, and you don't want to deal with it. You'd rather get somebody else to deal with it or not deal with it at all. And that's really where we are. We're hurting ourselves because of the rapid rate of innovation and the complexity. And instead of simplifying and reducing it to what the advertisers really want and starting from that perspective, or conversely what the publisher's really able to deliver, we end up with a lot of confusion out there. And that seems to be the topic du jour.
Tell me more. You were saying before we started rolling that you feel like the people in the room are spending too much time talking to each other rather than
who we need to be talking to, who are advertisers and publishers. We all ultimately are intermediaries in that room. In the Networks and Exchanges Conference, by definition, we're intermediaries, and we're all talking to each other about what we all need to do better, so to speak. But, to really solve some of these problems, you actually need to achieve scale, either on the buy side or the sell side, and ostensibly both, to really make the landscape simpler and have some clear winners and some clear losers, and basically make it a lot easier for people to make decisions about what they're going to do with their media spend, or conversely what they're going to do with their inventory.
If I'm a marketer, I want to know that I'm getting inventory agnostically. Mm-hmm. But you guys are also a huge publisher. So how do I know that what I'm getting from Yahoo is fair and agnostic, and that you're not putting Yahoo inventory to
That's the absolute best question. And, I sort of wish people would ask that of Google too. And I think
if they were sitting here, I would.
That's an excellent point.
Bring Google in the room.
Bring Google in the room, exactly. And ask them how much margin they're taking on inventory they're selling that is not their own, because that's the dirty little secret of Google Ad Exchange, is that they're taking, as someone described it today on the trading desk panel, they're taking a toll on every impression served. So from the Yahoo perspective, there are a couple of different ways they handle that, but the bulk is they'll put it in the contract. They'll actually tell you this is where you're running and this is how it's going to operate. From the Right Media perspective, we're a platform, so we don't really dictate as a platform where the inventory runs, and you have complete transparency to not only what kind of relationships you want to have. So everything on the Right Media Exchange is effectively a virtual private exchange, and you control exactly who you have access to and who you don't want to work with. So it's very clear from that perspective, from the buy side, that there's no playing favorites. The reality is, if you sit on the buy side, you look at Yahoo inventory and it just outperforms. It performs because it is one of the largest, most successful publishers out there.
How do you measure performance?
Varies by advertiser, and most advertisers I work with are, interestingly enough, not performance oriented. They're brand marketers, and they're really looking at it based on studies that they're commissioning from Nielsen Net Effects or something like that to measure brand efficacy and brand lift.
Brand awareness, all those things. How long? We've got just a couple minutes left. How long do you think it's going to be before we see this consolidation that you're looking for?
Well, AdECN has already been killed by Microsoft, but now they've invested $50 million in AppNexus. We're already seeing Google with a variety of different purchases. Yahoo's made some purchases in Dapper, and certainly with Right Media and Blue Lithium back in the day. And there will be more purchases made. And I think, it's not going to happen as quickly as everyone would like. I think there are going to be some companies that continue to get further investment from the VCs that are already heavily entrenched there because they don't want to see their investment disappear. I think we're in that state right now, actually, with a few of the players. And
mention any names?
I wouldn't dare. They'd kill me. They're clients. And I think, from my perspective, Right Media, instead of growing seat holders, will actually detract and have fewer seat holders who have greater impact in that exchange environment.
Seat holders, what is a seat holder?
A seat holder in Right Media is someone who has access to the technology, which is they can utilize as they will. So similar to a stock exchange seat, you have a seat and you have trading powers that anyone else on the exchange would.
Because there's going to be consolidation, there'll be fewer seat holders, but they will each have. So do you see in this consolidation that Yahoo has some piece that's missing that you want to pull in or plug in now?
Well, Yahoo, in and of itself as a publisher, has tremendous amounts of information that it utilizes all the time to improve user experience and to improve advertiser experience on the publisher side. They absolutely do that today and will continue to do that. From the technology perspective, what they're going to do, and I think what the roadmap really speaks to, is really innovating on the advertiser and publisher experience as part of the ecosystem, which is providing real tools for advertiser and seller that speak directly to them in the context of Yahoo. So presumably as a publisher, you get lift as part of the ecosystem because Yahoo is an anchor tenant. And on the buy side, you get scale immediately across premium brand safe publishers. So
there's nothing you can say that you guys are weaker in or lacking now that, in this consolidation process you think you would look to acquire?
There's nothing out there now that is a must-have.
Okay, but you do think you're well positioned to be in the right place to do the acquisitions Metz needs.
And I'm not suggesting we are acquiring or not acquiring any company in the near future, but currently the assets of Yahoo are pretty significant across the space.
Well, I've really enjoyed talking. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.